Hey there, quirky folks. Today we're going to revisit the biggest movie of the last 2 years. Spider-Man No Way Home was really built up to be the biggest even after Endgame. Ever since the rumors of all returning characters from past franchises began, there was no stopping this film.
We shut that spell down. We started getting visitors from every universe.
It had an amazing marketing campaign run by cast members like Andrew Garfield, who kept on lying about everything. And that in turn raised the hype for No Way Home even further. But the greatest aspect of the movie was that even after raising the anticipation so much, it over-delivered. It didn't miss a beat, and people enjoyed the movie to its core. Every narrative direction, every cameo and battle sequence was appreciated. The film became so huge that it has become the 6th biggest movie of all time. It has brought in around $1.7 billion worldwide. If the film would have released in China, then it probably would have also beaten Infinity War and The Force Awakens to become the 4th biggest film. But anyway, let's not talk about that for now. What's done is done. Now we have got to look at the future. Tom Holland is set to appear in at least one more Spider-Man trilogy for sure. But the question on everyone's mind is, how will Marvel and Sony manage to top this? The progression from Homecoming to Far From Home was great, but things became massive moving from Spider-Man Far From Home to No Way Home. Matt Murdock showed up. 5 villains came to the MCU from separate universes. 2 other Spider-Men popped in to help Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Ned became a wizard. Auntie May died. And Peter made a huge sacrifice to save the multiverse. Really, how can Spider-Man 4 be even half as good as No Way Home? Well, let me tell you how. First of all, Sony doesn't need to rush it. They'll be having a new director for Spider-Man 4, as John Watts has taken on Fantastic Four now. So, they should take at least until mid-2023 to come up with a good story. MCU Spider-Man should be allowed to breathe for a while so that we don't reach at a point of oversaturation for him. At the earliest, Sony would give us Spider-Man 4 in July 2024, if not later. This film will have a lot riding on its shoulders, and the creatives would probably have the pressure of replicating No Way Home's success. Well, to be honest, I don't think a simple MCU-based Spider-Man movie would be able to beat No Way Home. Something like this will take years of build-up and a highly anticipated team-up. So, Spider-Man 4 should not even try to beat its predecessor. That's how the movie could release the pressure and make its own bold choices. No Way Home gave Spider-Man a fresh start with no strings attached. And that's how Marvel should consider Spider-Man 4. But really, these things need to make money for studios. So, in order to do that, Spider-Man 4 should fulfill at least 3 parameters. The 3 Spider-Men coming together was special. But it shouldn't be repeated in Spider-Man 4. Something like that should be saved for a bigger event like Secret Wars. Instead, we should get something new. I could give you the next best plan of action for Spider-Man 4 to follow. The first condition of this plan is showing us the true Spider-Man. Peter Parker has gotten rid of all the gadgets and fancy suits. He won't even have a mentor now. He has become his own hero, the true Spider-Man in every sense. He'd have to manage everything on his own, and Spider-Man 4 should really show us the struggle that Peter will go through while trying to keep everything together. We need to see him struggling to manage college, his job, paying rent, and being Spider-Man. Spidey is so relatable for everyone because he is just a kid who is trying to make his way in the world and be a friendly neighborhood superhero at the same time. That part has to be played to its full extent with no Tony Stark, Nick Fury, and Doctor Strange coming in to aid him.
See, now that's some bullshit.
Condition number 2. Interesting team-ups. No Way Home obviously generated a lot of hype, mainly because of Tobey and Andrew's team-up with Holland. That may not be an option for Spider-Man 4. So it has to make sure that Spider-Man finds some interesting allies. In the comics, the Web-Slinger has teamed up with many characters. Deadpool, the Punisher, Blade, Shang-Chi, and the list could go on and on. But for now, I believe that the first character he should get to team up with is Miles Morales. Homecoming proved that he already exists in the MCU.
Yeah, sorry, Miles, I'm not gonna make it. Yeah, I'm just stuck.
And now that Peter has had a lot of experience, he could actually mentor a young Miles Morales after he gets bit by a spider. 2022 and 2023 will bring Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 and Part 2. So the hype for seeing Miles in the MCU will be on an all-time high. People would be rooting to see him team up with Holland's Spider-Man, and that would be the main factor driving the ticket sales. But that's not it. Miles shouldn't be the only one. We could probably have Black Cat coming into the picture. Peter will not be going to MIT, so whichever college he opts for should also introduce us to Felicia Hardy. But if there's no time to bring in Black Cat just yet, then maybe an established character like Daredevil should join Spider-Man. Just imagine Miles Morales, Matt Murdock, and Peter Parker forming a trio. It would be insane. Now that we've got the heroes sorted, let's talk about the third condition, that is, the villains. Again, it would be hard topping William Dafoe's Norman Osborn, so maybe Marvel could bring in a talented new actor to play a new villain. Or maybe they could finally make good on the promise of Scorpion from Homecoming. But more than anyone else, I believe that Marvel should start with a more grounded villain this time. They should pit Spider-Man against the mob boss Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio is a brilliant actor. He has already been shown to be quite powerful in Hawkeye. I know that most of you would argue that he got easily beaten by Kate Bishop, but you have got to say that he was holding back, and Spider-Man 4 could offer him the chance to really show how dangerous he is. He will probably return in the Echo series, and that's where he should be built up as the ruthless mob boss he is. Guess who is the common link between Miles Morales, Daredevil, and Spider-Man? It is none other than Kingpin, as they've all taken him on at some point in different franchises. So, if those three are teaming up, then they should get to fight and defeat Kingpin within Spider-Man 4. And using his power and resources, Kingpin could also hire some villains at his disposal. Dimitri from Far From Home could return and finally become the Chameleon. He could work for Kingpin. And we would even see a new villain like Tombstone or Rhino become the muscle for Fisk. That way, Kingpin won't feel like a smaller villain against the trio. Only after this should the Spider-Man franchise decide to go big with its villains in Spider-Man 5. Now before I end this video, could you guess the cliffhanger ending to set up Part 4? Well, let me pitch that too. Towards the end of Part 4, Marvel should make good on their symbiote promise for No Way Home. I believe that the film should end with the part of the Venom symbiote finally making its way to New York. And right as it latches onto Peter, the credits should start to roll. This is my idea for a more grounded Spider-Man 4. And don't worry, Ned and MJ would also be back in a limited capacity, but maybe they could take a backseat for this one. They could come into play in Spider-Man 5, once Peter goes dark by the influence of the symbiote. What do you guys think about this pitch? Let us know your preferences in the comments. Give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to check out some more fun content on our channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!